Hey, what's up YouTube? Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to outdamage your guildies in the King Slime, the Wind King Slime. So here's my team. I'm using my Balegar on a Rage Will set, my standard R5 one, my standard Riley on a Vile Will set, my Crow on a Rage Revenge set, my Raok on a Rage Blade set, and my Brandia on a Rage Blade set. So the number one tip that I have to give you guys is put your best damage runes on your damage dealers. I have both of my Lucian sets on my Rogue and Brandia. One has 100 crit, one has higher crit damage. So the key here is if you want to manual it, go ahead. I like to just auto it all the way up until like phase 4, maybe phase 5-ish. But if you really want to try hard it, you can manual it all the way up. I don't need to, and I don't want to because it's a pain. But sometimes it's necessary if you do want to beat your guildies. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I'll leave the timestamp below or on this video so you can go ahead and skip, or if you'd like you can watch it, whatever you feel like doing. Alright, so we're about to start phase 4. Tip number 2. So what I like to do is make sure that my Odin has multiple stacks before we get into his groggy state. And you also want to make sure that when you get into the groggy state, you don't have an attack break on yourselves or glancing on yourselves, because it will really hurt your damage. So we're coming into this clean, no debuffs. We managed to attack buff beforehand. We don't have our stacks on Odin, but it's okay. We managed to land the defense break. Perfect. Attack buff. Now tip number 3 for this, you want to make sure that your Riley is not hitting the boss whatsoever. If you have to, then do it, but try your best not to. I'm not an expert, but I like to use my Rogue and Crow's second skill to reduce my Brandia skill 3 cooldown time. But the issue is that it can make Riley move and hit, causing the boss to move a little bit slightly. So it is a little risky, but I like to do it. Number 4, I like to come out of the groggy state with my Odin on full stacks so he can do as much damage as possible, as well as my damage dealer's skill cooldowns, hopefully all the way down, so we can use the team ups and Brandia's skill 3. Okay, so we're really close to getting the boss down. Unfortunately, Riley gets stunned, but that's okay. He doesn't land any debuffs, and Raok manages to almost get it. Balegar gets it. Really good. So unfortunately, we don't have attack buff for this, but it's okay. We managed to land a defense break. Skill 2 to make sure that we get as many debuffs as possible, because Brandia and Crow's skill 3 does more damage depending on how many debuffs there are. It's important to have attack buff up as often as you can, so your damage dealers are doing as much damage as you can. It's important to also land your branding, because that allows your damage dealers to do as much damage as possible. I like to gauge how much damage I'm doing by looking at the score on the right. Like for example, usually when I get out of phase 5, I'm about 2300 in score, which is pretty good. That means I'm going to be coming into phase 6 with a good head start. If I know that I'm not doing enough damage, I might just end the run and redo it, because it actually takes a while to do this, and it's important not to waste time. Even though I said that you should come out of the groggy state with your skill cooldown times ready for your damage dealers, it's okay. This is the perfect example. My Balegar does not have full stacks. We do have a team up, but we don't have my Brandia skill 3. It's okay. Don't worry about it. As long as you make it through the run, then you're okay. The reason why I recommended it was just so you could safely knock him down back into the groggy state, because I know it gets more difficult as you keep going through the phases. Do your best to try to keep up immunity on all your monsters so you don't get the debuffs on it, because it'll also make you do less damage to him in this current state, making it harder for you to complete it, and you could potentially not complete it. I know I have a couple of guildies that can't even make it past phase 6 because it gets that difficult. So we're close to knocking him down. Unfortunately, we have debuffs on my Balegar. I managed to cleanse 1 off of him, and then skill 2 onto the boss. So we're coming in this with Belager attack broken. It's okay. I'm just gonna use first skill until we get rid of it. Managed to land a defense break. I'm just gonna go ahead and use skill 3 for damage. Let's land the branding. Let's try to cleanse that. Okay, so we managed to cleanse the attack break on Belager. I'm just gonna use the scratch to do a lot of damage. Thankfully we proc. Okay, we use skill 3 on Belager. Let's try to land the debuffs. Okay, perfect run. Now we just got to use our damage skills, do as much damage as we can. As you can see on the right, we're already at 3200 damage and he's not all the way down, plus the bonus you get for knocking him down. So we're doing really good damage. I'm gonna use skill 3 here to do as much damage as possible. Hopefully I get it back up by the time he gets back up, but that might not be the case. I believe this run I was trying to do as much damage as possible. So I'm coming out with no skills right now. We're gonna try to do as much damage as possible. Luckily the team up does pretty good damage. He lands a slow on me. Skill 3 on Crow doesn't really do that much damage. I don't have additional damage on Wind. I'm just gonna go ahead and use Belager on 4 stacks because it still does a lot of damage and we really need that damage. We're almost halfway to knocking down the King Slime, aka Young Thug, but we're doing pretty good damage. So we're about halfway there and he's about halfway there as well. So we're gonna go ahead and do our best to do as much damage as possible. I'm gonna use skill 3 again. He's gonna hit us. Luckily doesn't add a glancing or attack break. We're gonna cleanse these skills. We're getting close. This is getting really close actually, but we will be able to clear this out. We managed to get an attack buff. I just want to do as much damage as possible at the very end. So we got to about 3700 plus the bonus. Let's see how much damage we did. Almost 4.1 million. That's a lot of damage. Hopefully these tips helped you guys out. It should help you guys out get rank number 1. This helped me get rank number 1 against my greatest opponent. Let me know if this helped you out. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you.